Hey guys, it's me again. So, for this new episode today, I'm gonna be reading Angels in My Hair. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading Angels in My Hair today, and I'm gonna be reading a chapter, maybe every day for you guys for a while until we finish the book. This is a really good read. It is by Lorna Byrne, okay, an Irish mystic, and she is an amazing woman who does see angels and stuff like that. And I was um I was persecuted for stuff like that by so and she's like right there, but I don't really, I don't mind it. Do I mind? Well, kind of, yeah, but it's more like I don't care. So it's more like I don't care. I'm just gonna read it because why? Y'all need to know this is my life. But at the same time, it's really cool to read this book. So you guys been wondering, I've been talking about this book over TikTok. Now you guys need to know. What is this? What is this book really about in terms of what is in store? This book is actually about Lorna's life. It's really about her life. Okay. What she's been through. Um and all the angelic encounters she had, which was like practically every day. So this is like a whole life story about her tales and adventures with the angels, Archangel Michael, and her guardian angels, which is awesome. So, without further ado, let's start off with chapter one. My mom's doing the dishes. I hope that sound isn't too, abrupt for you. Excuse me, I just had breakfast and I just drank some cranberry juice. You guys can see. Cranberry juice is right here. All this stuff right here. Well, without further ado, chapter one. Through different eyes. Okay, let's dive in and let's start. When I was 2 years old, the doctor told my mother I was retarded. When I was a baby, my mother noticed that I always seemed to be in a world of my own. I can even remember lying in a cot, a big basket, and seeing my mother bending over me. Surrounding my mother, I saw wonderful, bright, shiny beings in all the colors of the rainbow. They were much bigger than I was, but smaller than her. The size of a 3-year-old child. These beings floated in the air like feathers, and I remember reaching out to touch them, but I never succeeded. I was fascinated by these creatures with their beautiful lights. At that time, I didn't understand that I was seeing anything different from what other people saw. It would be much later that I learned from them that they were called angels. As the months passed, my mother noticed that I'd always be looking or staring somewhere else, no matter what she'd do to try to get my attention. In truth, I was somewhere else. I was away with the angels, watching what they were doing and talking and playing with them. I was enthralled. I was a late talker, but I had been conversing with angels from very early on. Sometimes we use words as you and I understand them, but sometimes no words were needed. We would know each other's thoughts. I believed that everyone else could see what I saw, but then the angels told me that I was not to say anything to anyone about seeing them, that I should keep it a secret between us. In fact, for many years I listened to the angels, and I didn't tell people what I saw. It is only now in writing this book that I am for the first time telling much of what I have seen. The doctor's comment when I was just 2 was to have a profound effect on my life. I realized that people can be very cruel. At the time I was born in 1953, my parents lived in Old Kilmainham, near the centre of Dublin. I'm sorry if I pronounce these words wrong. I really don't know where these places are. I think they're in Ireland. But yeah, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. My father rented a little bicycle repair shop there, which had a cottage attached. If you walked through the shop and around to the left, you would come to a tiny and fairly dilapidated house. It was part of a row of old cottages and shops, but most of them were empty or abandoned because they were in such bad condition. For much of the time, we lived in the one little room downstairs. Here we cooked, ate, talked, played, and even washed in a big metal basin in front of the fire. Although the house had no bathroom, outside in the back garden, down a little path which is shed with a loom. Upstairs there were 2 small bedrooms. At first I shared one of the bedrooms and a bed with my older sister Emma. It wasn't just angels I was seeing, and I saw them constantly, from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep, but also the spirits of people who had died. My brother Christopher had been born a year before me, but he had died when he was only about 10 weeks old. Although I had never saw him while he was alive, I could visualize him. He was dark-haired, while my sister and I were fair, and I could also play with him in spirit. At the time, I thought there was nothing strange about this. It felt as if he was just another child, although he seemed a little brighter in appearance. One of the first things that made me realize that he was different, though, was that his age could change. Sometimes he appeared as a baby, but other times he looked about the same age as me, toddling across the floor. He wasn't there constantly either, but it seemed to come and go. Late one cold winter afternoon, just as it was getting dark, I was alone in the little living room of the house in Old Kilmainham. There was fire in the open fireplace, which was the only light in the room. The firelight flickered across the floor while I was sitting playing with little wooden building blocks my father had made. Christopher came to play with me. He sat near the fire. He said that it was too hot for me where he was, but it was okay for him as he didn't feel the heat. Together we built a tower. I would put one brick down, and he would put another on top of it. The tower was getting very tall, and then suddenly our hands touched. I was amazed. He felt so different from other people I touched. When I touched him, he sparked. It was as if there were little stars flying. At that moment, I went into him, or perhaps he went into me. It was as if we merged and became one. In my shock, I knocked over our tower of blocks. I burst out laughing. Then I touched him again. I think that was the first time I fully realized that he wasn't flesh and blood. Ooh. I never confused Christopher with an angel. The angels I saw did sometimes have a human appearance. When they did, most of them had wings and their feet did not touch the ground, and they had a sort of bright light shining inside them. Some of the time, the angels I saw would have no human aspect at all, but appeared as a sharp glowing light. Christopher appeared around my mum a lot. Sometimes Mum would be sitting in the chair by the fire and would doze off, and I'd see him cradled in her arms. I didn't know whether my mom was aware of Christopher's presence, so I asked him, "Well, will I tell Mum that you're here?" "No, you can't tell her," he replied. "She won't understand, but sometimes she feels me." Here's why. One winter morning, the angels came to my bed as the sun was coming up. I was curled up under the blankets. My sister Emmer, with whom I shared the bed, was up and about. Instead, Christopher was curled up beside me. He tickled me and said, "Look, look, Lorna, over at the window." As I have said, angels can appear in different forms and sizes. This morning they looked like snowflakes. The glass in the window seemed to become a vapor, and as each snowflake hit the window, it was transformed into an angel the size of a baby. The angels were then carried on a beam of sunlight through the window, and each one seemed to be covered in white and shiny snowflakes. As the angels touched me, the snowflakes fell from them into me. They tickled as they landed, and surprisingly they felt warm, not cold. Wouldn't it be wonderful, Christopher said, if everybody knew that they could fill their pockets with angels, that they could fit thousands of angels into one pocket, just like snowflakes, and would carry them around with them and never be alone? I'm gonna stop right there. Did you guys know that's my life? My angels are in my pockets. That's why I want to write a book called like a pocket full of like a this or a pocket full of that. Cause like I want to like write a book where it's like a bag full of this or a pocket full of that. I want to write like a book like that. Try not to take my idea, please. Cause like I want to write the book kind of like a this, and it's gonna be like a pocket full of like angels. Yeah, I don't know if she has. I really don't know if she made a pocket full of angels. I don't. She wrote multiple books, but I don't know if she wrote a pocket full of angels. But I want to do something where it's like a pocket full of angels. If not, then like I might do a pocket full of something else. But yeah, don't take my idea. Okay. I turned and asked, "What if they melted in their pockets?" Christopher giggled and said, "No, angels never melt." I rather sadly replied, "Christopher, I wish that you could fit in my mom's pocket like a snowflake and be there for all the time." He turned and looked at me, and we were cuddled up in bed, and said, "You know, I'm there already." When I was an adult, my mother told me she had a baby son called Christopher, who had been born a year before me, but had only lived 10 weeks. I just smiled in response. I remember asking her where Christopher was buried, and she told me that it was in an unmarked grave, as was a custom in those days. There's a baby's graveyard in Dublin. Okay, I have to stop there. Remember I said over social media that there are things in this book that are going to challenge your faith. I hope your faith is challenged right now, because guess what? There are way more things in here that are really going to shake you. Oh, yeah. And I've seen those things. So don't say that's not true. She's seen them herself. I've witnessed them myself. So guess what, guys? Ooh, don't say these things aren't true. They are, okay? Because I'm not crazy. I'm not. I've seen them. I witnessed them. I've seen angels. I've witnessed things. I've talked to Archangel Gabriel. I talk to Michael every single day. We play every single day. And she used to play with Michael too. She plays with angels, and as she played with, like, yeah, as what you've just heard me say in this book. I played with Michael like how she played with Michael too. It's not just her, it's me too. You can have the same relationship with Michael the same way that we do. It's just that what you don't believe. You need to believe. I'm telling you guys right now, if you don't believe, then what, guys? You're not going to understand half the things in this book. You're not going to understand her life. You're not going to understand the prophecies that were spoken over her by the angels. So guess what? Just listen and believe. All right. It's sad that there's no grave with his name on it that I can go and visit, but he's not forgotten. Sometimes even now, all these years later, I feel Christopher's hand in my pocket, pretending to make snowflakes, reminding me I am never alone. Reminds me of the Lacey song. You're not alone, beyond the universe, echoing 1,000 stars. What does he have to say today? You're not alone. Lacey started with Flyleaf, okay? Now, I love Lacey, but let's continue. I learned more about Christopher and my mother one day when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I was sitting at the table swinging my legs and eating breakfast when I caught a glimpse of Christopher looking as if he were about 12 years old, running across the room to the shop door just as my mother walked in with some toast. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, swinging my feet. See, swinging my feet. It's reading to you guys. She had a big smile on her face as she said, Lorna, there is a surprise for you in the back workroom with Da's work done. I jumped up from the table, all excited, and followed Christopher. He went straight through the shop and into the dark workshop. I had to stop at the door because it was so dark in there that I couldn't see anything and I needed my eyes to adjust to the darkness. However, Christopher was just like a light, a soft, shimmering glow that lit up a path for me through the cluttered workshop. He called out, The cat has had kittens! And there, thanks to Christopher's light, I could see 4 tiny little kittens. 3 were jet black, and 1 was black and white. They were so beautiful, so soft and glossy. The mother cat Blackie got out of the box, stretched herself, then jumped out of the little window into the garden. I ran after her and called to Christopher to come too, but he would not come into the garden. I walked back in and asked Christopher, Why wouldn't you come outside? He took my hand as if to comfort me. I loved the touch of his hand, and our hands merged together. It felt magical. It made me feel safe and happy. Lorna, when babies die, the spirits stay with their mothers for as long as they are needed. So I stay here with Mom. If I went outside, it would be like breaking those memories, and that I won't do. Even at that young age, I knew what he meant. My mother had poured so much love into him, all the memories she had of being pregnant and carrying him inside her, the birth, the joy, and the happiness she had holding him in her arms and bringing him home, even when she had a feeling that something was wrong, despite what the doctors told her. Mom had a precious few weeks at home with Christopher before he died, and Christopher told me of all the love that she had poured on him, and he now poured that love on her. So my spirit brother would remain in the house, never going out, until the day came when it seemed that my mom felt strong enough to move on and was ready to let my little brother go. That day was the day when we had to leave that little shop in Old Kilmainham for good. When I see an angel, I want to stop and stare. I feel like I am in the presence of a tremendous power. Ooh, yeah. When I was younger, the angels generally adopted a human form to make it easier for me to accept them, but now that's no longer necessary. The angels I see don't always have wings, but when they do, I am sometimes amazed by their form, Occasionally, they're like flames of fire. Ooh, that says that in the Bible. They're like flames of fire. I told you some of these things, they're going to test your faith. Some of these things there are in the Bible, okay? And yet they have shape and solidity. Some of the angels' wings have feathers. One angel had wings that were so slender, tall, and pointed that I found it hard to believe that they were wings. I wanted to ask the angel to open them up. When angels have a human appearance, with or without wings, their eyes are their most fascinating features. Angel eyes are not like human eyes. They are so alive, so full of life and light and love. It's as if they contain the essence of life itself. Their radiance fills you completely. I have never seen an angel's feet touch the ground. When I see one walking toward me, I see what looks like a cushion of energy between the ground and their feet. Sometimes it looks like a thin thread, but other times this cushion grows between the earth and the angel and even sinks into the earth itself. Oh boy, one of my favorite parts. Let's read. Ever since I was very young, there was one particular angel who used to appear to me often. The first time I saw him, he was in the corner of the bedroom and he just said, Lorna. In some ways, he looked like other angels, but there was something different about him too. He shone more strongly than the others, and he had a commanding presence, a powerful force of male strength. From that first time I saw him, I always felt he was ready to protect me, like a shield. From then on, he kept appearing, and gradually I befriended him. He told me his name was Michael. Let me stop really, really quickly right there. See, I told you she has a relationship with Michael. Okay? I have the same. Not the exact same, but I have a relationship with Michael. Okay? I talk to Michael. I see Michael. I play with Michael. Now, I do have a picture of Michael. Multiple ones, actually. And one of the ones that I drew of him was that, I'm going to stop and I'm going to show you guys. Okay? I made him into a chibi little character. Give me a minute, I'ma show you. 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 Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I am back. Promise a minute. This is a sketchbook where I drew the archangels in. Okay, I did this, and I drew the archangels in, and I'm gonna show you Michael. Okay, this is the sketchbook where I draw. Da, 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 da. Oh, so what are these? Jesus' eyes. So Akiana did him first? No, you know, guys, that was me. You know, guys, it was me for Akiana. We're the same age. Akiana and I are the same age. But she witchcrafted by manifesting for Jesus. You don't manifest to see Jesus. No, you pray to him. She doesn't really, you know, Akiana Kermerick doesn't really pray. She manifests. Her brothers teach her to manifest. You don't manifest. Manifesting is actually satanic. Bad. You guys didn't know that? Lorna don't manifest. Michael taught me that. Ba, 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 ba. This is Michael. You see this? I drew this. And what? This looks like this is from like straight from an anime, right? Because I was supposed to make an anime called Twin Breakers. I'm gonna show you guys. I made a cover sketch. Okay? I made a cover sketch. This is the cover sketch, okay? This is Twin Breakers. This is the cover color sketch, okay? That I did in marker, okay? I'm gonna show you another archangel, okay? Another archangel that I did. And he's one of my guardian angels. I'm gonna show you one of my guardian angels. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Not him. Because you're gonna be like, oh my god. Him. Him, okay? This is one of my guardian angels. So, who really was the prodigy first? Her or I? Akiana or me? You know it was me, and then Akiana witchcrafted that out of me, and then I had to train to get it back. This is why you don't see me paint Jesus. Because she witchcrafted that out of me. You don't manifest that out of things. Manifestation is actually stealing. When you manifest for money, when you manifest for things, when you manifest for it, you steal it by asking the universe to place it in front of your front door, like her stuff. Ooh. Her stores were what? People and images and things came out her front door. That's witchcraft. You guys didn't know that? You guys don't do that. Who's that, please? Mommy, I told you I'm making the videos, please. I told you she didn't trust me. This is not good. Sometimes we have a great relationship, sometimes we don't. It's okay, guys. See? This is my first guardian angel. He's my first guardian angel. I was supposed to make an anime based off of him. This is his armor, one of his armor pieces. Okay? He's usually not in this anymore as much as he used to be. The reason is because of the fact that this is Archangel Stretsimir. Okay, that's how you say it. Like Stretsimir. You can say Stretsimir or Stretsimir. Okay, Archangel Stretsimir. Stretsimir is an archangel that his name is Archangel Kahu. People don't usually understand who Kahu is. Kahu is really Michael. Michael is really originally Archangel Kahu because Kahu means protector of somebody because they are the one who loves your soul. They love you. That's why they protect you. Okay? You want some chicken? Hence why my mom is saying, oh, you know this, that. A Kahu is somebody who watches over you. In Hawaii, they don't say, they don't say your pet owner. They say what? Kahu. Okay? Like Ohana means what? Family. No one gets left behind. Fam. Also, it's Lilo and Stitch. Yeah. The guys, what else? I'm gonna show you another archangel. So I see archangels and she doesn't. Yeah, because they're like, no, Akiana, no, Akiana, no, you're not gonna look at me. You weren't looking at me, girl. You weren't looking at me and trying to masturbate it to me. You know she masturbates. Yeah. How do I know this? Holy Spirit. Which, yeah, she don't talk about Holy Spirit, does she? Look at that. What's his name? Do you see his name? You see his name is Mike Luca? What does this look like? An anime, right? Yeah, this looks like an anime. Yep. Yep. Archangel Myluka, okay? Archangel Myluka is known as the Red Guardian. That's why, like, oh, so my jacket is red, right? Archangel Myluka is known as the Archangel, okay, of really a lot of things. One of it is protection. One of it is protection over children. He protects children. Okay? There is a reason why he never came around Akiana. Because Akiana was doing weird stuff. Okay? She was doing some weird freaky stuff. Through manifesting with her brothers. This is why she had to run. She kept saying, oh, we had to move. She probably was never told why they had to move. They just had to move. They had to move because they had to run because they were sorcerers. And she was a witch, and her mother didn't know because her mother was Catholic, but they didn't know. But she was a witchy Catholic. Horrible. Yeah, you don't listen to Akiana anymore. Please don't. Anyways, because she don't got Michael, I have Michael. Okay, let's continue. School was difficult for me. Most of the teachers treated me as if I were slow. My first Holy Communion was at school when I was 6, and it was horrible. It should have been a very special day, as if it was for most Irish children. When we were preparing for first Holy Communion in the classroom, the teachers would ask the children questions, checking that they had learned their catechisms, but they wouldn't bother with me. They'd say, there is no point asking you. And when all the other children had to stand in line and say something about the communion, I would stand in line too, but then I'd be dragged out and told to go sit down. As a young child, this really hurt. So you gotta be careful what you do to your kids. Okay? So while I sat down at the back of the class or on one of the benches in the corner, I'd ask my angels, don't they know that I know my catechisms too? They aren't even giving me a chance. See, that's why you gotta give your kids a chance. You gotta give your kids a chance as well. If you don't give them a chance, they feel like they're gonna be losers for the rest of their lives. Give your kids a chance, honey. Give your kids a chance and you give them a world. There you go. Then in church on my first communion day, as I finally made my way up to the altar, I was grabbed by the arm and pulled out of the pew again because the teacher decided that the better girls should go ahead of me. That the better girls. So, better girls. There are girls better than you, there are boys better than you. No. That's a lie. You know that's a lie from the pits of hell? No one's better than anyone. I'm not better than you, you're not better than me. Did you know that? I'm not better than you. I'm just different. That's it, honey, that's it. No one's better than you. It says in the Bible, God is no respecter of persons. God has no respect of persons. God is not a respecter of persons. Where? As in this, God does not respect you more than your brother or your sister or your mother or your father or your aunt or your uncle, your grandpa or your grandma. God does not love them more than you. God does not respect them more than you. To respect somebody more means that they show you more love. God does not love them more than you. God loves us all equally. God loves you equally, honey. Okay? There we go. There were some kind people, though, when I was about 4. There was a nun called, I think, Mother Madarina. Madarina. That's a beautiful name, Madarina. She had been told that I was slow and retarded, but I felt she knew better. When I was in her class, she would come down and ask me little questions to which I always knew the answer. So then she smiled and rubbed my head. Because she's like, oh, I know. You're not dumb. You're not stupid like how they called you. Wow. Yeah, they were like that. But despite these occasional acts of kindness from a few people, I grew up an outsider. People could see that I was different and they just couldn't understand it. That aspect of my life has been very, very hard, and it still is today. People say I'm too trusting, too truthful for this world, but I cannot be any other way. The strange thing is that to be truthful in every way, in how you think and in how you speak, and to be truthful to those around you is hard, and it does tend to isolate you. The way people think about or look at me does affect me greatly, even now. Ooh. You gotta be careful how you look at people, because the way you look at people is kind of like, what's that look? You know how I'm saying? When the way people look at you, they're just like, and I'm just like, no, what's that look, honey? What's that look? You see what I'm saying? The way people look at you is truly the way they see you. It is a type of judging. You gotta be careful how you look at people, because that's how fights start. Ooh, honey. Oh, let me tell you, that's how fights start, and that's how things start and almost never end. Oh, let's keep going. Even though they may not know me or know what I do, they know that on some level I am different. What did I say, honey? You're just different, honey. There you go. See? You are different. But it depends on how you're treated. Do they treat you differently because you are different? And how differently? Oh, no. They should love you because you're special. In terms of what? You're different, which means you're special, which is what? You are unique. It means unique. Awesome in your own way. Okay? If I go out with friends or meet someone new who knows nothing about me, they will often report back to my friends that there is something unusual about me, something that they can't quite put their finger on. This can be difficult to live with. My life at school was made much more bearable by one particular angel called Hostess. One morning I was running to school, trying to keep up with the older girl who was with me, when suddenly I saw a beautiful angel hiding behind a lamppost. He made a face at me, and from that day on, Hostess used to appear most mornings on my way to school. I still see him regularly today. Hostess most likely is actually her guardian angel, because if you see an angel constantly in your life, like an angel reoccurring and reoccurring, that means that angel is actually your guardian angel. A guardian angel, for those who don't know, I learned this from Kat Kerr. A guardian angel is an angel that stays in your life because they are assigned to you. They are assigned to watch over you. really to protect you and to keep you in all your ways. That guardian angel is supposed to protect you, help you, assist you, and everything. That guardian angel is even to help you when you go through pain. Did you know that? That's why sometimes some things don't hurt. Oh, is your guardian angel help you? Yep. Hostess looks like an old-fashioned school teacher. He wears a swirling robe that is blue most of the time. But can change color and a funny shaped hat, and he carries a scroll in his hand. Ah, I think our creature Michael just revealed something about Hostess. Hostess is a I can't talk about Hostess because you guys are gonna be, oh my god, that's Hostess. Michael's like, this is Hostess, this is Hostess, Hostess is this, and I'm like, oh my god, Hostess is that. I just realized who Hostess is, and I'm like, because blue, the color blue is a sign of something, and I'm like, blue, oh Michael. Anyways, his eyes are radiant and sparkle like stars. He looks like a young professor, a young man full of energy and with great authority and wisdom. Great authority and wisdom. Hostess always looks the same, unlike some of the other angels who surround me. Michael, for example, adopts a human appearance most of the time, something I asked him to do, because I find it easier, but he changes his appearance frequently, depending on where we are or the message he has to give. Okay, let me stop right there. Michael, his face usually looks the same for most of the time. Okay, which is why I draw him a certain way when he's chibi. I draw him a certain way when I draw him realistic. I draw him a certain way when I draw him in a different anime style. I do different styles. Okay, I do different styles. I'm not trying to keep constantly clap back at Akiana. You guys know that she's not real. She's not really true. All that she did, all those things, all those paintings and stuff, witchcrafted out of me. She was peeping into dimensional theory. She's like, ooh, peep. Did you see one of the things too? It looks like she kind of peeped through she kind of like poked a hole through reality. She's poking a hole through my realities. I'm like, because I went through dimensional theory with the archangels, and then I was like, what in the world? Those are my dimensions. All the stuff that she painted were my realities. She's peeping in my worlds for years. And I was like, what the what? I looked at it when I got older, and I'm like, Akiana, you what the what? You peeper. She's a peeper. Don't listen to her. She's a peeper. God. Oh, okay. All right. To me, Hostess represents knowledge. He looks very serious, and he can be, but he's also wonderful at cheering me up when I feel a little down. He was Hostess. No, sorry. It was Hostess who would comfort me and tell me to ignore the other children when I felt ridiculed at school. Aww. Or when I saw adults talking in a huddle and then turning and looking at me. Hostess would say to me, they know nothing. At the beginning, I didn't know this angel's name, and he didn't actually talk to me. Hostess would appear in the classroom, mimicking the teacher or another child or playing games in the classroom. Funny angel. Or doing something else to make me smile. Sometimes on the way home, he would be waiting at the school gate or on the far side of the road. I remember the first time I spoke to him, I had no one to walk home with that particular day, as my sister was going dancing and I had left early. So I took my time coming out of school and wandered slowly through the playground. I made my way toward the big. Oh, hold on, guys. Let's see if I can finish this. This laptop's about to shut down, but let's see if I can finish it, okay? I had no one to walk home with that particular day as my sister was going dancing and I had left early, so I took my time coming out of school and wandered slowly through the playground. I made my way toward the big gates at the entrance to the school in the hope that I would see Hostess and be able to talk to him. So I was thrilled to see him peeping around the pillars. Not people like I can. Yeah, peeping the pillars. Peep, peep. Yeah, a peep, peep, peep. Angels can playfully peep with you or peep at you. Angels can playfully peep at you. I can say, oh, I can peep too? Oh. And I'm like, no, Akiana, you don't peep out of, you don't peep out of weirdness. Nah, man, you don't do that. You don't do that, man. He shouted to me to hurry up. You gotta get home before it starts to rain. I stopped at the gate and looked around. There was no one nearby, so I asked him his name. Hostess, he said. I just giggled in response. I skipped home from school, and he skipped along with me, and all I can remember is laughing most of the way. Chapter 2, which is the gatekeepers. Okay. We are going to stop right there. Okay. So I just said this. Okay. Archangel Michael is now going to allow me to reveal it before the laptop dies. Hostess is a side of Michael that came out of Archangel Michael and became a different angel. That's who Angel Hostess is. Angel Hostess is Michael's host, angelic host, fun side. Hence why it's called Hostess. 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 It's a calm way of saying I am the host that has fun with you. That's what his name means. Well, guys, that's it for now. Until next time, I'm going to read chapter 2. This is my Nani Butterfly Reading Rainbow show. This is my reading rainbow. You guys can have your own reading rainbow and read your own books to the world and stuff like that because we don't have reading rainbow anymore. So who does reading rainbow? The world. We all have to do reading rainbow and we all have to read each other books. Because why? The internet, in terms of Google, is wrong. Google's wrong. Google's wrong now. Because not everything on Google's right. Not everything. Not everything on Google is wrong, but not everything on Google is right. You research certain things and it's wrong. And I'm like, that's wrong. What the hell? That's wrong. It's wrong. There's things in Google that are wrong. There's things that are like obvious things, like what is a garden snake? If you research that, I don't even know if it's fixed. But if you research garden snake, it doesn't say garden snake. It says like garter snake. It says that it's for the garter. It's a garter. I'm like, what the what? Like it's not a garter. Like it's for like your gartering or it's not gardening. It's a garter, like which is sexual. And I'm like, what in the world? Yeah, Google's like wrong and weird. I don't know if they fixed that. I don't know if they did something like that or what. So anyways, I don't know the history behind why garter is garter, but why garden is garden. Garter, what's a garden? What's a garter? A garden. Oh, a guardian. A garter or as a guardian. Maybe it was supposed to be that, but they mixed it up and they threw it together as a garter snake, as in something that's like what your garter, as in like something that like you wrap around yourself, like a garter thing, like for whatever sexual thing. I don't know what that is. I don't know what they did. Anyways, until next time, bye.